Do you have an idea for a podcast that would be perfect on the Podpire Network? Head over to thepodpirenetwork.com/pitchapod today. That is thepodpirenetwork.com/pitch-a-pod. You could be our next great podcast host. The following podcast is a production of the Podpire Network. Find and listen to our podcasts at thepodpirenetwork.com or wherever you enjoy your podcast. The Podpire Network, a family of inspired podcasts. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Sibel, how are ya?
I'm good, Bibi. How are you today?
What's with the fake calm when I know that you are nothing but the most unserious individual? What are you doing?
I'm trying to be calm and collected.
I am good, thank you. And you? Pleasure. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Alfred is pretending again. He's pretending. Listen, I'm in such a great mood because number one, we have.
You're here with me.
Yes, of course, goes without saying. But also
your expression right there, you're just like, jeez.
Yeah, no, the narcissism has to be fed, right? So that's fine. That's completely okay with me. As long as you do the job, that's okay with me. But no. Listen, I'm so happy today because, we've had such a great few, episodes already, and it's just the love that we're getting from the people who actually take the time to, message me or let me know, what they're finding interesting and funny and hilarious. That stuff is like fuel to me, man. So again, just starting off the episode by saying thank you to everyone who is really taking the time to.
Merci beaucoup.
Yes.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Yes, absolutely. We are so grateful. But the other reason, Sibel, why I am so excited for this one is this.
Because I'm here.
Sibel, oh, shut up. I'm so excited because I've never had so much fun researching anything, and I mean anything in my life. I had so much fun researching for this episode. And I gotta say,
great find.
Hats off to you. Hats off to you for sending this to me a couple of weeks ago. The moment you sent this to me in the DMs,
an honor.
And I read the first few lines, I was rolling already. And I knew that it was only going to get better. And with every single thing that we dug up about this guy, it was just
crazier and crazier.
It just gets
and
crazier and crazier and funnier and more harebrained with each thing that you read. So without further ado, I am so happy to let everyone listening know that today we are talking about the one and only Timothy Dexter. Look, if you've never heard of Timothy Dexter, we are going to do you such a great service today and let you know about the single luckiest. I don't know. How would you describe this, Sibel?
I would describe it as a person who broke reality.
He broke the simulation, right?
He broke the simulation. He proved that probability isn't a real science.
It means nothing.
It's insane. It's insane.
This guy did so many things that shouldn't have worked, and he couldn't miss. Like, this guy was a straight hitter. He could not miss, no matter what he did. No matter
he should have so many times.
So many times. He should have been bankrupt and destitute and homeless. This dude just kept getting more and more money. It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Yeah. So I guess I gotta calm down and start the episode right and say welcome one and all to Harebrained Schemes.
Welcome.
the podcast where we
Welcome.
talk about ill-conceived ventures that are almost always hilarious. And I gotta tell you, a lot of the time they don't work, but once in a million, one time in a million, you find a harebrained scheme, or in this case, a series of harebrained schemes by the same individual that just couldn't miss. He could not fail. It was almost like he kept shouting out into the heavens, "Strike me down!" And the heavens kept saying, "I love you so much. Here you go, another $3 billion."
He's like the opposite of the guy who got struck by lightning. What was it, like 9 times?
It's ridiculous.
It's
I don't know.
insane.
I don't know.
It's insane. When we first talked about the concept for this podcast, my first thought was, I'm so excited to talk about these crazy ideas and people, which somehow worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just didn't make any sense. And yet somehow reality just decides
reality just bends. The universe
stranger
just
than
bends.
than fiction. Reality is stranger than fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And manages just
to just keep rewarding these people.
It doesn't sound real.
Yeah.
Like if you were to read this in a book, you're like, okay, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the fact that this is a real person in history,
you couldn't make this stuff up, right?
You wouldn't. You would be considered a hack if you made this character up.
There is no, you know how you do the hero journey? In most storylines, you have the hero's journey where they find themselves, they have a bit of a setback, then they learn a lesson, and then they come back even stronger. This guy had no curve. He had no hero's journey. It was just straight ahead, full speed, and no thinking, no thought, no thoughtfulness, no education, no resourceful. He was just blessed beyond comprehension. So we're going to talk about this dude. And I am so excited. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you can tell, but I am really excited to talk about Timothy Dexter. And, first of all, as we like to do, let's go over to the Wikipedia, because that's usually a good place to start. And so we're looking at his Wikipedia, and it says Timothy Dexter, January 22, 1747 to October 23, 1806, was an American businessman noted for his writing and eccentricity.
Oh, God. I love how eccentricity is hyperlinked.
Now, you know how...
Why is eccentricity hyperlinked?
Eccentricity. Before we talk about that, Sibel, I feel like Wikipedia, because we've been doing, all this research recently on different people. And, typically we would go to their Wikipedia because that's a good place to start, right?
Always.
And what I've been noticing is this through line. Now, I know technically it's not the same person that's updating every single person's, Wikipedia. But
of course,
I kind of feel there's a through line here where there's a bit of sauciness under the surface there. Because why would you say this man is known for his writing when, as you will find out, dear listeners, now this guy was successful in a lot of ways, in a lot of things. So for Wikipedia to single out his writing as in the first sentence of his Wikipedia page to say he was known for his writing, trust me, you will find out very soon why that was really, really funny. But yeah, it goes on to say Dexter was born in Malden in the province of Massachusetts Bay. He had little schooling and dropped out of school to work as a farm laborer at the age of 8.
I'm going to add a little more detail to that.
Okay.
It was actually indentured servitude.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at a farm at the age of 8 as an indentured servant. So
at
we are talking
age of 8. Yeah.
At 8.
This was nothing
we
good.
We are talking
right?
destitute.
Yeah. This was nothing good, right? This was not, this was not a great time, period, right? This was not a great time for most people, right?
Right.
And it says, when he was 16, he became a tanner's apprentice. Now, Sibel, you know what a tanner is?
Tanner is someone who works with leather.
That's right. Converting animal leather into stuff that people can wear and use and stuff. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And so it goes on to say in 1769, he moved to Newburyport, Massachusetts. He married 32-year-old Elizabeth Frothingham, a rich widow, and bought a mansion. So
she was 9 years older than him.
She was 9 years older than him.
At the time.
And apparently, the sauce here is, Sibel. She was the widow.
Spill the tea, baby.
She was the widow, Sibel, of, one of his former bosses in the tanning business.
What?
Right? So, dude was like, now I gotta get out of this poverty somehow. How do I do it? Think. Now it seems they told me the other day that Mr. John just died, and his wife is looking particularly lovely these days.
Oh my goodness.
That's what happened, right? Goodness. So he talked her.
Oh no, poor Mr. Frothingham passed away.
Poor Mr. Frothingham. I guess he wouldn't be needing that wife of his anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so he married her, and she was 9 years older, and she was from a significantly better, higher caste of society, right? You know, and so she got a lot of ridicule for marrying this dude, for even entertaining his advances, right? But she was so in love. She was so enamored. She was like, no, he's the one for me. He gets me, right? He comforted me after my dear husband passed away. And so, but this whole time it was schemes, my guy. Ooh. It was schemes, because he was like, look, nobody is making it out of this lower middle class situation anytime soon, given the circumstances, right? Think about the time we're talking about. We're talking about the Revolutionary War was about this period. We're talking about all the things going on about this time.
Fun fact, when he finished his tanner's apprentice with the leather work, he was effectively, he had paid off his indentured servitude and was given what's called his freedom suit. It's called a freedom suit.
Now, was that anything like a James Bond suit? Do you tuxedo?
I have no idea. Just the name concerns me. And then he sold that, and that's what paid for him to come to Newbury.
I would say that was pretty smart that he sold that. I don't want to keep being reminded of, because that, for me, the suit must have been pretty good, number one. But number two, if he didn't sell it, it would just have remained there and just kept taunting him and reminding him of, all the tough stuff he's been through, right, to get that suit. So yeah, good call selling that suit, my guy. That was a good call, right, Sibel?
It worked for him, because that's what got him to Newburyport, and
that's what got him
and Miss Frothingham. And that's how.
Now, can we talk about what an awesome name that is, Frothingham?
Frothingham.
Yes.
The lovely Miss Frothingham. Right. I don't know if lovely is the word I'd use for Frothingham.
Right. Right.
It sounds concerning, almost medical.
It sounds like you need to get that checked out as frothing.
You need to get that checked.
Yeah, it's like
that's a Frothingham right there.
The Frothingham epidemic of the 1600s.
When everyone was just foaming at the mouth. Yeah, so
it preceded rabies. Frothingham was the original name for rabies.
Now we probably have to apologize, because
just the kind of
luck that we're gonna have is there's gonna be someone named Frothingham.
We have weird names
listening
too.
to this. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
So we're in no position to be making fun of anyone's name. But
you can make fun of ours, and we won't do it personally. Because names are weird.
We don't care. We didn't get a say. So at the end of the American Revolutionary War, he bought large amounts of depreciated continental currency that was worthless at the time. So
he bought monopoly money with all of his savings, all of them. Monopoly money.
Yeah.
Monopoly money.
Again, we're talking about, let's talk about this period, right? The Revolutionary War had just ended. And then all these people and during the war, they had created something called the Continental Dollar, which at the end of the war was completely valueless. But this was what they had paid all the soldiers with, right? And so, at the end of the war, suddenly this Continental Dollar it wasn't even worth the paper it was printed on, right? And so for some reason,